Hilaria and Alec Baldwin are back in the news. So let's take a look at that interview they did with, and I'm going to break it down for you almost sentence by sentence, give you a better idea of what's really going on there from a body language perspective. Are they really fussing? Are they really annoyed with each other? Let's take a look.
Where are the kids?
Kids are trying to go to bed. This was
They
an early
where we're going.
night. I know I had to sneak out.
When I say to them, I go, "Mommy has to go to work," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
No, then the baby wanted to come too. She's like, "I come too."
They all want to come.
All right, this is a pretty good one because it sets the tone for the rest of the videos we're going to watch. Now, pay attention every time she's asked a question. What does she do? She turns to Alec. Why would she do that? Because he's the alpha in this situation. He's been doing this forever, and he's a pro. He's a famous actor. So that's the way they handle it. He's very charismatic. That's all I've ever heard about him is how charismatic he is. And obviously he is. So when that question is asked, they contradict each other.
I had to sneak out.
When I say to them, I go, "Mommy has to go to work," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
No, then the baby wanted to come too. She's like, "I come too."
He says the kids are fine with it, and she says they're not. They want to go too. So there's that. And then he tries to give her a talking point. He says they always want to know where we're going.
Kids are trying to go to bed. This was an early
where we're going.
night. I know
And with that, she could take that and run with it, but she doesn't because she's not experienced with interviews like this. Even though it's just an on-the-spot interview, she's not loaded with the proper equipment to deliver a good answer on that.
Well, you're just gonna have to bring them back because the desserts upstairs are amazing. Do they have sweet tooth?
Yes, and so do we.
They actually, because of her, they eat very healthy. But when dessert time comes, you better show up.
It's a mix.
They want good desserts. They're very spoiled. They're New Yorkers. They want good dessert.
Okay. When she asks her, do the kids have a sweet tooth? She says, yes, and so do we. Bring it back to her. Right. And then Alec contradicts her.
Do they have sweet tooth?
Yes, and so do we.
They actually, because of her, they eat very healthy.
And then she agrees and says, yeah, well, it's a mixture.
They eat very healthy, but when dessert time comes, you better show up.
It's a mix.
He's great at interviews. She's not very good at this stuff at all. Now, pay attention to him because this is a great lesson in how to look like you're listening to someone when they're talking to you, especially in an interview. Watch his eyebrows throughout all these videos. Pay attention to his eyebrows and watch his head. He's all the time doing this number. Like, yeah, like all this information is like so exciting for him. So that's really interesting. But that's how he shows he's engaged. And it makes him look good on camera.
Well, you're just going to have to bring them back because the desserts upstairs are amazing. Do they have sweet tooth?
Yes, and so do we.
They actually, because of her, they eat very healthy. But when dessert time comes, you better show up.
It's a mix.
They want good desserts. They're very spoiled. They're New Yorkers. They want good desserts. But it is an iconic brand, like you mentioned it. What do you guys have in store for us today?
We'll see. I think we're just gonna have fun and
Where?
Here.
Here?
Here. We're gonna have fun and
Apparently
hang out.
we're
I
gonna
mean,
eat
do you
dessert.
see how big this? It's incredible how many people have shown up, and it just shows you. I mean, what an iconic place.
She doesn't know how to answer this question. It's a filler question. However, it's the perfect time for her to throw in something about the show. That's why they're there. That's why they're there in real life, is to talk about this show and bring attention to it. She could have taken that and said, oh, we're here because we want people to see what we look like out in public. You get to see what we look like at the house all the time with the kids and everything. But here you get to see what we're like outside of that and away from that. Doesn't do that. She has the perfect chance to bring it back to that. So again, she's missed a shot at bringing attention to the show.
But it is an iconic brand, like you mentioned it. What do you guys have in store for us today?
We'll see. I think we're just gonna have fun and
Where?
Here.
Here?
Here. We're gonna have fun and
Apparently
hang
we're
out. I
gonna
mean,
eat
do you
dessert.
see how big this? It's incredible how many people have shown up, and it just shows you. I mean, what an iconic place.
I mean, you've spent your career in Hollywood, but I have to know, because we are loving the show, by the way. We're loving getting to know your family. Is it harder to memorize scripts or be yourself on unscripted television?
Yourself. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard, yeah.
This is another great example to show you how to look when someone's interviewing you, how it's supposed to look. This guy's so good at this. Watch his head. Keeps popping out like that. His eyebrows keep going up, and she's locked into him. He's really good at this. Obviously, he's charismatic because he's an actor. He's been around doing this forever. So pay attention to those little head pops and how his eyebrows go up. I'm not saying integrate those into what you do every day, because those are big moves, because he's on TV and being videoed and stuff. But a little bit of that won't hurt. That may help you there. And the only time we really see a real, true, full smile from her is right here when they talk about how much she talks about how much she likes the show. So everything is there that should be for a real smile, for what we call a Duchenne smile. One of the things to look for is, and you always hear this, is when people say, well, you see a real smile, you see little wrinkles in the eyes. Yes, you do. But you can make little wrinkles in the eye right there by squinting. Anybody can do it, right? But there's a specific look to these little wrinkles right here when it's a real smile. Normally, when you and I smile, a fake smile, we just do this and smile, the eyes come down like this. When you squint, the eyelids come down like this. When they, on the sides, when it's a real smile, they come in like this, at an angle, like that. That's how you can tell. You can see it. You can't tell it from far off, but you get close enough and you pay attention, focus on it. If you're talking to somebody, you can see it. It's a little tougher from a distance, but that's one of the main things you can see. Her smile goes up higher than it goes any other time in this whole group of videos. You see these little indentions right here. Those go in as well, further than any other time in this video. So that lets you know that's a real smile. And then it all goes away once it starts going to Alec, when the interviewer talks to Alec. And you can see, I think this bothers Hilaria, because you see her go, she takes this big deep breath like she's holding it in, and she does this little goofing around with her mouth. So I think that might bother her a little bit, because she wants the attention to be on her. So
I mean, you've spent your career in Hollywood, but I have to know, because we are loving the show, by the way. We're loving getting to know your family. Is it harder to memorize scripts or be yourself on unscripted television?
Yourself. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard, yeah.
What makes it so hard?
Trying to make it silly. No, I mean, I think that every day, because we like routine, and I think anybody who's a parent knows that like a routine is king, or in queen, routine is key. We'll just say king and queen at the same time.
It's essential.
It's essential. It's essential. But, you know, I think that us trying to every day.
Word for essential in Spanish.
Esencial.
Oh,
Okay.
you let me down.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're distracting me right now.
Sorry.
Like now you're just doing that. Why? Why are you distracting me?
I'm just captivated by your beauty.
You're just distracting me.
You're so
no, but
beautiful.
oh my God, stop! You're annoying me. Stop! It's not cute. No, he's distracting me. So I'm gonna like walk out of this interview.
So this is one she can answer and has no problem with whatsoever. That's why her illustrators are so big. Her arms are moving around. She's really focused. She's into it because it's easy for her to answer. Then when she runs out of steam, she turns to Alec. And then she says essential.
It's essential.
And then he asks her to say essential. What is essential in Spanish?
Trying to
What's
every
the
day.
word for essential in Spanish.
Esencial.
Oh,
Okay.
That might have been a goof up there, because remember, she got in trouble for that, pretending she's Spanish from Spain, and she's not.
We have tomatoes. We have how do you say anything? Cucumbers.
So her whole family was there and stuff.
He took me out to Montauk. He said that was as close as he could get to Spain, to my family, and to Rome.
Then she gets up his hind end a little bit, acts like she's all put out with him and annoyed.
Oh my God, you're distracting me right now.
Sorry.
Like now you're just doing that. Why? Why are you distracting me?
I'm just captivated by your beauty.
You're just distracting me.
You're so
no, but
beautiful.
oh my God, stop! You're annoying me. Stop! It's not cute. No, he's distracting me.
Remember, they're trying to get attention for this show. This is perfectly following the narrative that they're trying to put out into the world, so you'll get interested in it and want to go see it and watch them fuss and see what's really happening with Alec and Hilaria. So that came out really good, I think. So it gives you the impressions of, well, how can he tolerate this? How can he tolerate her? And why does she put up with him? You know, whichever side you take. And you're going to take a side.
Interview.
I need the motherhood notes. You were doing an amazing.
No, okay, go back. Let me go back. It's all about routine. It's all about routine. And every day we strive to be boring. And then like unboring things happen to us, as they do with 7 children.
That's really good, because that is basically the pitch for their show in one sentence.
It's all about routine. It's all about routine. And every day we strive to be boring. And then like unboring things happen to us, as they do with 7 children.
That's probably the showrunner, the person who came up with the show or the idea, most likely pitched it to Max. I think it's Max or Paramount. I think it's Max. Went in and pitched that, said, what is it? Well, what is it about? And they gave that sentence that she just said.
It's all about routine. And every day we strive to be boring. And then like unboring things happen to us, as they do with 7 children.
So she's heard that 1,000 times. That's why it rolled off so quickly and so well for her and so easily. She's so confident with it. So I think that right there, that's a great example of a one-line show pitch.
But I do want to ask you lastly just about your memoir. And what are you excited for readers to learn about you?
I'm in the process of doing the audiobook right now, which is...
It's a heavy experience, right?
It is. It is. So no, I mean, it feels, I mean, all of these projects that we're doing are very much about sharing ourselves and taking control of our own story. Cause in this world, everybody likes to talk for you, and it's nice to, take the moment to talk for yourself. So I'm very excited for people to read it. And it's all within common themes that I think a lot of mothers feel, and we all have our own stories, but we can relate to each other. And so I hope people like it. I hope people like all of the things that we're doing.
I hope people read my wife's book and realize what like an unusually amazing woman she is. My wife is probably one of the most special people. She is probably the most special person I've ever met in my life. Her qualities are just so, the combination is like kind of mind blowing. Anyway.
For you guys, enjoy. Robert's upstairs. You'll see him. He'll be looking forward to seeing.
This didn't go well because the question she's asked is, what do you want your readers to learn about you, to know about you? She has no answer for this. Now, had she listened to her publicity person, or had they had a publicity person come and talk to her, they would have said, listen, you're going to get questions like this, and here's a general idea of how to answer it. They would have given her some ideas of what to say. She has a book out. That suggests to me she probably didn't even write it. She sat down and wrote out some points, and somebody sat down and said, oh, here's what my life is like, or whatever the book is about, because she doesn't know much about it. She's talking about the audio. She goes into doing the audio book. She's confused there. She shouldn't be. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere on this.
But I do want to ask you lastly just about your memoir. And what are you excited for readers to learn about you?
I'm in the process of doing the audiobook right now, which is...
It's a heavy experience, right?
It is. It is.
So she dropped the ball. He picked it up, and he starts talking about how wonderful she is. Now she's the greatest person he's ever met, trying to get some interest in her so people will read her book or at least check it out and look into it. So that's a great job. Good save there. So another example of a pro.
And so I hope people like it. I hope people like all of the things that we're doing.
I hope people read my wife's book and realize what like an unusually amazing woman she is. My wife is probably one of the most special people. She is probably the most special person I've ever met in my life. Her qualities are just so, the combination is like kind of mind blowing. Anyway.
In my opinion, there's no problem here. They're not annoying each other in real life in these. This is more of a show to get whoever's watching this interested in that show. They probably talked about that, or they're used to being that way from it because they've already shot the show. They've already done it. So this isn't real. You would have seen anger. We didn't see any expressions of anger. No true expressions of being annoyed with someone. We didn't see contempt. We didn't see any of that stuff. And contempt is when one side of your face goes up, your mouth and that little part of your lip and face goes up a little bit there. None of that. No disgust. I'm disgusted with you is where this goes. None of that. So I don't think there's, and no anger again. No, the glabella doesn't come together there. We see no upper teeth. We don't see any chin jutting. We see his head pop out, but only when he's talking to the interviewer. So there's no anger here. There's nobody's mad at anybody, I don't think. It looks okay to me. I think they'll be okay. If he could take it.